This is a reflection about what it's like being raised to be seen and not heard as a child, and how to build self-trust back as an adult. So today I was feeling a little or a lot of food guilt and not like my best self. I'd been eating food that was highly enjoyable, but also not the healthiest, and I wasn't getting enough exercise in. I felt bloated and not myself. So inevitably, this created a lot of anxiety and catastrophic thoughts about the future and whether I'd get into the best shape of my life by June. Pretty typical thoughts to have after a cheat meal that lasted for 3 days. Great weekend, by the way. For the person reading this, who may also be a highly sensitive, recovering perfectionist, what you put in your body can have a huge impact on how and what you think about. The more unhealthy I eat, the more guilty I feel. The more guilty I feel, the more discouraged I feel about the future, being seen, asking for help, my job, my relationships. It all becomes this one huge spiral of catastrophic thinking. So instead of shutting the thoughts down, I laid on my bed. Yes, the thoughts come up at night a lot. I closed my eyes, allowed the emotions of guilt and shame and regret to flow through, and I asked myself quietly, what are you really feeling and wanting? And yes, some tears happened. Shortly after, my higher self, my inner child, she asked me, where is my voice? Can I trust my voice? These questions brought me to all the times that I'd get so offended by people not doing what they said they would do, broken promises, abruptly changed plans that I actually was looking forward to as an introvert. Then memories of broken promises from past relationships, friendships, and family came up. And yes, the earliest ones I can remember as a child. With a highly sensitive mind that has ADHD, anxiety, and is recovering from perfectionism, this is literally how catastrophic thinking links seemingly unrelated thoughts and worries together. I took a breath and allowed them to flow and settle. I felt that tension in my stomach and chest that initially began as food guilt that turned into self-disappointment, then ruminating and overthinking on all the ways that I've been let down in the past and whether I deserved it or not. I took a few more deep breaths, placed my hand on my stomach, and allowed acceptance of the feelings without attaching a meaning or truth to it all. When you're raised in a hard-working immigrant household and have had to learn to quiet or dismiss uncomfortable emotions, it's so easy to become critical of yourself and your choices. It's so easy to judge yourself for not making perfect decisions all the time, especially when you're raised to be seen and not heard, and to just be productive. This can subconsciously make you believe that your voice is the least significant and least trustworthy thing in your life. Those feelings of food guilt brought up a lot for me. And yes, when I notice a pattern happening outside of myself, certain decisions that I'm making, certain comfort, behaviors that I seek, I'm looking at, okay, how am I treating myself? Even in the small things. What am I skipping? Did I skip breakfast even though I said I'd have it? Did I skip that workout even though I said I'd do it? Did I go to bed at 12 a.m. even though I said it would be 10:30 p.m. or 11 p.m.? If you've gotten this far, then I'm sure you can relate, or maybe you're asking, what does this have to do with business or your inner child or perfectionism? The answer is you are the center of your business. How you speak to yourself, how you handle emotional discomfort, how you allow yourself to witness your inner child screaming for attention, they all matter. Yes, even as an adult. Especially when that inner child feels guilty for being too sensitive, too needy, because they're taught that messing up meant dishonoring the family, being wrong, being incapable, lazy, weak, undisciplined, all the things. It all matters in your business. or whatever it is you're trying to create now, whether that's a family, a relationship, a career move, they're all connected. And if you ignore it, it can run the show of your business, of your life. I could have shut those feelings down and dismissed them as ridiculous, insignificant, or irrelevant to my productivity. However, these feelings gave me a golden piece of information about what I value and what it means to practice self-trust. Self-trust is not perfection. It's not about becoming the fittest ever. It's not about making more money. It's not about being seen as perfect to the outside world. It's for me. The little promises that I've broken to myself and that others have broken to me, the dismissal of my feelings and emotions, they all become an energetic permission slip for my reality to reflect and accept that this is okay. That a little broken promise or agreement is okay from a lover, a friend, a family member, colleagues, a business partner. But deep down, you know how horrible that feels when it happens. Skipping meals, skipping exercise, eating too much unhealthy food, skipping bedtimes, and skipping the practices that help stabilize you are big deals to your nervous system. And no, it doesn't mean changes of plans aren't allowed to happen in your social or professional circles. Even in your personal life, life happens. But dismissing your needs, dismissing being present with the emotion, avoiding what the inner child is trying to tell you, avoiding what your body needs, it's telling your nervous system that instability is expected and accepted. It tells your body that your voice isn't a big deal. And you are just recreating the patterns that you grew up with that broke your heart. And by virtue of law of attraction, your reality will reflect this over and over again. It's not something to be ashamed of. It's a reminder that everything is energy, whether you believe it or not. If you struggle to slow down and be present with uncomfortable emotions, or if you judge some emotional trigger as insignificant and you just push through them in the name of being productive, it will harm your business, your life in the long run. Check in with how often you skip the very thing your body needs to feel well in the name of productivity or lack of time. Every missed need, every missed moment to be present reinforces the shrinking of your intuition and your voice. And it creates putting more importance on the voice of others and does make you more vulnerable to actions and choices that might feel comforting in a moment, but feel really terrible later on. And your voice can only be heard clearly when you take care of the body that holds it. Recommit to self-trust by choosing 3 things you know make you feel good and that you can realistically do over the next 5 days. Make it simple yet impactful. For me, I chose drink a cup of warm lemon water when I wake up. That's 1. Second one is do intentional exercise for at least 10 minutes. That's 2. And the third one is get into my bed by 11 p.m. So I chose these because I know how I am. If I don't have an anchor, then I have nothing. I'm a naturally competitive person. I'm always going to want to do 5 minutes more. Or if I say be in bed by 11, I'm going to want to be in bed at least 10 minutes before. These are productive ways to challenge yourself to recommit to your self-trust practice. That's it. Not for results. Just because I said this is important to me and I do what is important to me. And yes, it can also make me feel like my best self, but I can also show up as my best self for my business, my family, and my career. If you need a significant reason, a body of empirical evidence or research to do something for yourself simply because it makes you feel good, then that is the signal that you need more time listening to your inner voice. You do not need someone that did a long-term study of 20 years of whatever to tell you that your voice matters and that, yes, you can trust your voice to lead you in the right direction, in the right actions, what your body needs to feel well and to feel stable. You don't need anyone else to confirm that for you, simply because your voice deserves to be heard and honored. The inner child, that never had their voice be important or as important in the room deserves to be honored and heard every single day. Recommitting to my self-trust practice has completely changed my life. It's changed the types of people and opportunities I attract and engage with. Stable, reciprocal relationships, beautiful mentors, a new balanced work opportunity, a great boss, colleagues, and work environment, stable income, a better relationship with my family members, and because of this, I am less subjected to feeling thrown off, anxious, or irritable when others don't do what they say they'll do. And also, if I make some mistakes, it's okay. I know this is a time to come back home to myself and take the emotions, take the information from it, and do something different to feel better moving forward. I can trust myself to respond in a way that honors myself, my integrity, and the situation. Sometimes that may look like having a conversation with the person. Sometimes it may look like retracting my energy. Sometimes it may look like removing myself from the person entirely. Why? Because I trust myself. I do what I say I will do, and my daily actions, the small and the big ones, show me that that is true. So you are the center of your world and your business, your family, your life. Be the person you want in your life to yourself first, and your world will reflect it.